Yukimura, yes. Guy Cecil, yeah. Eddie Meal, Kiba from Wolf's Rain. Right. So you guys know some things. Who? Yu Narukami and Adachi. Talking to myself. Makoto from Free.
Renton.
Renton Thurston, yes. Something like that. Jojo, yeah, Jonathan Joestar. Dio! A lot of my characters shout. All they do is shout. Saku from Beck. He had no eyes, he was like this. Yeah, okay, so you guys know some of the characters. Johnny from Space Dandy. Yes, appropriate. Alright, so, this is just a Q&A. If you want, you can go up here, or you can just raise your hand, and then as long as you can speak loud enough. If it seems like you can't, then we'll have to use the mic. It's your choice. And then whenever there's a lull, I'll tell a story. A couple people have asked me to tell the quarter story. Who's heard the quarter story? Alright, so the rest of you have not heard the quarter story? Alright, well I'll be sure to tell that before we end here so that you can leave here thinking I'm a complete fool. And you will lose all respect for me. And so, yeah, so let's do some Q&A. Does anybody have any questions to start us off? Yes?
Do you prefer voicing heroes or villains?
Do I prefer voicing heroes or villains? Good question. It depends on the role. Usually villains have a bit more depth, but occasionally you get, a decent hero or lead that has a really cool story. So it depends on the series. But I think without knowing a series, if I had a choice, I would probably say, the villain. Unless, I was running really low on cash, and I'd be like, oh, the hero. So then I would be in it more. Yes?
Hi, so I am representing the Risen Bull Deviant Rangers. You may have heard of them, you may not. But we worked on
something to do with Vic?
Yeah, that guy. So I'm here to present to you a project that the Rangers worked so hard on. We pretty much summarized all of your characters, and we know that there's a couple characters you love. So I'm proud to represent the Yong Bosch art book project for you.
What? Thank you. All right, well, you guys want to look at it?
Yeah!
Yong Bosch, I'll read it to you. Art book project. That got cut off, huh? Boom! Title, Vash the Stampede. Hello, Johnny. I just wanted to let you know that you've been a favorite. Are you British? Voice actor of mine for ages, and you almost always end up being the voice of my favorite characters. Is that a heart? Haha, my brother, and I love your band too. Oh, thank you. Keep up the incredible work. Kirsten. Are these are just various...
All of the Rangers, the people that did artwork, some of them just wanted to do a quick shout out here. That's why the editing is kind of important.
No, yeah, that's fine. All right, well, actually, there's a lot of pages. I don't know if I can read every page, but I'll show them to you. There, whoa. Hey! Whoa! Wow, these are good. Oh, yeah. Oh, the ice cream bars? It's like Charlie Brown version. Yeah. Easy. More mashed donuts. Have you guys seen Wolf Story? Great series. Macchiato. Strawberry. Wow, there's a lot of work went into this.
We did, and at the original Rangers, it's just a bunch of fans that admire all of our actors and celebrities and put time and dedication to bring characters to life to the, animes that we enjoy. So this is our way, and this is from people all around the world who could not make it to Sakura-con. Their way
Well,
to
that is very cool. Well, you have to tell them thank you very much.
we're going to be posting a video to at live. We're going to post it, and all our fans will appreciate it. Okay, it's done. It's been good.
Well, thank you for this. This is awesome. Not as awesome as that. Okay, so I'm so inappropriate. No, okay, that's really cool. Thank you. Yes. Filming Power Rangers stories from the set of Power Rangers? Yes, I do. Let me think. Alright, so I feel like they're the same stories that I've told elsewhere. Have you heard the tree flip story? No? Okay. Well, then I'll tell this one. So Jason Frank hasn't told this one yet. Not here? Okay, cool. I just would have assumed that he would have told this story because he doesn't tell it very well. That's different, yeah, that's a different story. Alright, so this is Tree Flip Story. We're in Australia shooting the first Power Ranger movie, and there's a tree, it's a palm tree, and Jason Frank and I are just killing time. They're setting up lights, we're in our civvies, which is our civilian wardrobe, and so we're really supposed to be just sitting in our trailers, but we're bored. And we're like young, 18, 19 years old, and we just want to do things, and so we're flipping off this tree. And so he would run, and he would take like 3 steps, and then backflip, and so I would be there to spot him just in case. 1, 2, 3 steps, boom, I'm there. And then I would run, and because I was the frog in Power Rangers, I would jump, bounce off one time, and backflip. So he'd be there for me, and he'd run 1, 2, 3 steps, boom, I'm there. And so we're doing this for a while. And then at one moment, he's running towards the tree, and then he's like, I'm just gonna keep running. Or keep going. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. As he continues to run towards the tree. And I'm like, okay, well, he's just having such a great time, he's just gonna keep running. And so I start counting 1, 2, 3, I put my hand out, 4, 5 and a half, and now he's coming down towards me, head first. And I'm, an intelligent, half Asian guy. And so I did this. You okay? And he pops up with a big cut under his eye. And I was like, you should go get that checked out. And then we went back and we got yelled at, in big trouble because we're goofing off. This is $1 million whatever budget film, and you guys are playing around. What do you think you are, Power Rangers? So we got in trouble. And he did get me back, but I'll tell that a little later. Yes?
How do you like playing Isaiah from Dorora?
Isaiah is a lot of fun, actually. Isaiah is one of the characters where I get to take my time and manipulate people. And it's just kind of fun to see him do that, even with what they showed the other day, the little screening on Friday. But yeah, it's just so much fun. It's fun to play characters like that, definitely enjoyable, and I want the series to continue, even just, to see more of the backstory, of each of the characters, especially Isaiah. But, yeah, yes. Song lyric, any of my song lyrics inspired by the characters? Not really, no. I don't, well, well, not really, but I did, we were at a con with a band, and occasionally we do like what we call a musical Q&A, where, the band will be up here and I have my guitar, and you'd be asking questions like you are now, and we would sing the answers back to you, just improv the answers back, and they usually turn into really just kind of goofiness. And we did it once, Teddy Bear That Eats You, and then we recorded it and then posted it and then ended up putting it on an album. And then we were at a con, and I think somebody maybe dropped or like broke a guitar string and was tuning, and then I started fiddling around on stage, and then I was like, yeah, what should I sing about? Somebody was like, Power Rangers, and I was like, yeah. And then somebody else was like, zombies, and I was like, okay, Power Rangers versus zombies. And so I did improv a song called Rangers versus Zombies, which would have been the character I played, and had my character in it. And then somebody posted it online. It got kind of popular, and we put it on an album. So both of those are on our acoustic albums, but yeah, those are fun. So I guess yes. Oh, sorry. Yes. Oh my goodness. I don't know that I could. For me, I kind of would need a script, and wow, that Totoro in the back of the room is yeah, interesting. What was I talking about? I don't know, I think I would need a script. Otherwise, yeah, when I improv, it always goes really south in a bad place. And it's hard to get back out of it. What if they met? Hi, I'm Isaiah. Nice to meet you. Hi. And that's probably how it would end up.
Do you think you will return as
Season 3? I would like to think so. I mean, they had me come back for Aikido, so I would think, unless they're like, it's pretty terrible in that. Let's just not use them anymore. Let's just use Micah. Yes?
How did you like voicing Jonathan, and what do you think of JoJo?
Jonathan was fun, and JoJo is bizarre. It is a bizarre adventure, absolutely. It's just wild. I had no idea what I was getting into working on it. Actually, when I looked at the audition, at first I was like, oh, is this Fist of the North Star? Because it had that old school look to it, right? And I was like, oh, this is cool, all right. And then, but then it was like slight British accent. So I was like, oh, that's weird, okay. So then once I booked it, and then I was working on it, and I was like, this is a bizarre show. But that's what it's meant to be, like, and it's just wild. I remember a moment that, well, first off, I was fighting a head at one point. A full-grown man with all of his body fighting a head. I also remember a moment fighting Dio and throwing a rose at him. A rose.
More effective
And
than Tuxedo
it
Mask.
was like a rose, and he was like, so, and I was like, that was a rose, right? Is he allergic to roses? But it's definitely a lot of fun, though. Hey, you already got one. Let me try somebody new. Yes, Orange. How hard was it to, what now?
How hard was it to fight in the plastic armor that you had worn in the Power Rangers movie?
Oh, in the first movie, in those suits?
Yeah.
Those suits were pretty heavy. Those suits were, you know, probably 30, 40 pounds. And they weren't very flexible, you know. Eventually they had to adjust them, and I know with the stunt guys, they had to like cut, you know, into the suit so that they could bend their arms and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty heavy. We didn't have to do a whole lot, luckily. But the ninja stuff was much easier, I'll tell you that much. But it was cool though. I liked the suits, you know. Going from spandex to like cool suits that, you know, had like muscles and stuff. Was it glitter? Oh, was the new one glitter?
Yeah, no, I mean, in the show.
Oh, the metallic Rangers? Yeah, well, they just wanted to sell the toys they didn't sell for the movie. Because when they came out with the movie toys, they made them all like metallic. And they kind of sold, but not really well. They had like so many more. They were like, oh, let's put the metallic Rangers on the episode. And so then our suits were metallic. And the kids were like, oh, can I have this one? It's exactly the same, only shiny. Yes.
So what's it like to do characters like Ichigo where he gets to fight himself?
They're fun. It is fun, actually. Doing Ichigo and Hollow Ichigo and then this full, whatever, holified creature is a lot of fun, but there's a lot of screaming. In fact, I borrowed a lot from Goblin 13, if you've heard my Goblin 13 story. That's like, I did a lot of that in there. I did a lot of, I did. You listen closely, it's like, what? I wanted it to be interesting. Yes, way back there.
Me?
Yes.
What was it like to play as Koizumi?
Koizumi? Cool. Koizumi was fun. Man, I'm trying to remember. Very wordy. That was a very wordy character. Like, he had a lot to say. And I remember thinking earlier on, I was like stumbling over the things that he was saying. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And they're like, you're gonna do it. I'm like, all right. I have until 6 in here, is that right? Okay. Yes.
So, what was it like voicing both Toru Adachi and Yong Bosch for the same game?
Well, first off, I thought I was just gonna be voicing Adachi. And so I didn't think about limiting my range or thinking about pitch or any of that stuff. I was just like, I'm a character in a game, I can do whatever I want. And then towards the end of that session, they were like, oh, and so once we're done with Adachi, you're gonna play the protagonist. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And I was like, oh, you know, you're gonna do both the characters. And I was like, wait a second, what does he sound like? I was like, oh, you know, the same kind of tone. I was like, what, is it the same person? No. I was like, what? And I started to panic, but then they're like, oh, it's the controllable character, it's just call-outs and grunts. And I was like, okay, I can do it. Until the animation came out. And I'm like, there's a lot of talking here from both of me. And then that was when I was like, had to make the conscious effort to adjust the characters a little bit more clearly. But it was fun. It was fun. It was a challenge, but it was fun. And I enjoyed it. I love the series. I want to see more, but I think it might be done now. I think it looks like they're moving on. They can't keep doing part 4 of something forever. But it was definitely fun. That's hard. I don't know. Gosh. In the beginning, I definitely preferred Adachi. But then later on, I was like, I don't know, I kind of like Narukami now. So now it's a struggle. It feels like it's just me. That's like me in that game. And that's all, I don't know, just in there. And it's hard for me to choose. I am you! It's weird. weird to say, huh? All right, I'm gonna tell the quarter story. You can lower your hands and rest for a little while. All right, so I'll try to tell it kind of fast because I know some of you've definitely read it like 1,000 times. All right, so every time I go to work, I have to take the freeway. So obviously, coming back home, I have to take the freeway. I exit the off ramp. There's a signal light there, and then I make a left to go into the overpass. But on that corner, there's always some homeless guy there that I typically ignore, just because I'm in my car and I feel like they can rob me or something. I don't know. So this one day, I exit the off ramp. And it's a red light. There's 4 or 5 cars in front of me, so probably about the distance of this room, maybe. And so I'm at this red light, and behind me pulls up this monster truck. There's just tires in my rear view mirror, and he's revving the engine. It's just, you know, and I'm just, sorry, dog. Dog's like, sorry. But so this revving of this engine is vibrating my car and just freaking me out a little bit. And I picture in my mind that as soon as this light turns green, it's gonna go, bing, monster madness, and he's gonna drive over us all and kill us or something. And so I'm kind of panicking. And I have this Ziploc bag full of carrots that I'm scarfing down like my last supper. And I look up and look over expecting to see this homeless guy on the corner that I might possibly ignore. Not because I don't like homeless people, I just don't want to get robbed. And so, or mugged or something. And so I look over and I see a homeless woman. And I felt bad. My heart went out to her and I was like, that could be my mom, you know? And I felt like, all right, I should do something. I should finally do something. And so I haven't done this before, especially in my car, so I'm not sure how it works. But in LA, I don't know if it's the same here, but in LA you have to pay for parking everywhere. So I have this empty Ziploc bag now. So I scoop up all these quarters that are in my cup holders, just full of them because of all the parking. And so I scoop them all up, put it in this Ziploc bag, and I'm like, whoa, it's like 3 pounds worth of quarters. This is awesome. She's gonna be able to change her life, get off the street. And I rolled down my window and I put my hand out with this 3-pound bag of quarters. And like I said, 4 or 5 cars in front of me, so about, you know, the distance of this room. And I look over to her like this, and she sees me. She has her sign, and she goes like this. And I'm like, what? I'm like, do I get out and bring it to you? Aren't you supposed to? I'm like, no, I don't think I can throw that far. Like, I kept trying to communicate with her, like, I don't understand. And as I'm like this, the light turns green. And so these 4 or 5 cars in front of me, they must have felt the vibration of the monster truck, because they took off. And so instinctively, I'm just like, whoa, I better start going. And so I'm going. And I look down, and I'm going 20 miles an hour with a 3-pound bag of quarters in my hand. And now the monster truck is right behind me, so I can't hit my brakes or slow down and go, here's the quarters, or he'll just run me over, right? And so I'm going 20 miles an hour with a 3-pound bag of quarters thinking, I don't know how this exchange is gonna happen. Can I throw it in her gut like a football player? Got it! You know? What if I hang on to it too long and I get pulled out of the car and I die? What if she hangs on it too long and I pull her under my car and kill her? So I'm freaking out. But I get this moment of clarity, this epiphany. I think, Johnny, you're a martial artist. And half Asian. Just calculate. 20 miles an hour, 3 pounds worth of quarters, all you have to do is this. And watch it gracefully land into her hand. And so there I am at 20 miles an hour, going, all right, ready, now. And if you've ever been in like a car accident or some kind of tragic vehicle, whatever accident, time slows down. And I think that like God is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow motion button. Hey, Jesus, Moses, bring some popcorn and nachos. Yeah, I'm recording it. Yeah, we'll play it back when he's dead. Over and over again. And so there I am, 20 miles an hour with a 3-pound bag of quarters, and I release, and I watch as this 3-pound bag of quarters flies through the air. At 20 miles an hour, 3 pounds worth of quarters smacks her in the face. The bag rips open as she falls down. fall glistening in the sunlight, and my only reaction is this. No! I'm going so fast that I actually screech around the corner. There's nowhere for me to turn around, except for getting back on the freeway, so I just kept driving home. I felt dirty. All I saw was this. Quarters everywhere. True story. So if there's a lesson to be learned, kids, don't give homeless people money while driving around. That's a true story. Before that day, there's always some homeless guy on that corner. And I'm not joking, after that day, never again. I drive by there every single day after work, and there's not a person there, a homeless person, asking for money. It's so strange to me. I don't know if she died, or if there's like rumors now about that corner. Don't go there, the corner man will get you. True story. Not so cool anymore, huh? I should run for office though. Clean up the city, carry a bag of quarters around. Lately I've been thinking, I don't know why I've been thinking this, but I've been thinking, you guys know how, this is terrible, if I'm gonna say it anyways. You guys know, like when you're, like, my parents never did, but sometimes your parents would be like, you're not going to bed when you're little, and your parents would be like, go to bed or the boogeyman will get you, right? Or at least you've heard that, right? Maybe they don't do it anymore, because it's strange. But I was thinking, what if, like in the homeless area, like little homeless families, the homeless mom and dad are like telling their kids, hey little homeless baby, you need to go to bed or the quarter man will get you. So I don't know why I've been thinking that. I hope that there's not homeless babies and children alive, but anyways. Totoro, you're really freaking me out, man. Just... All right, questions, yes? Yes?
You mentioned the last
Bryce, yeah, and Steve Cardi, and a few other guys, but yeah.
Yeah, how often should children act? How often do you get trained? How often do you get trained? Right? Regularly or?
Well, Bryce, most of the time it's with Steve Cardenas. He's a Red Ranger. But Bryce, he was training with us a while ago, but then he like pulled a muscle, and he's been traveling, so he took a break off. But he just came back last week to train again with us, and he'll come back next week. But